Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back for another Total War video with the Terminator. The early medieval age was a time of massive change, and so naturally is a perfect setting for excellent Total War gameplay. Anisvara, a modder for Attila Total War, has already made some brilliant mods that depict this era. Mods like 555 AD Age of Justinian or 634 AD are fabulous mods that if you haven't tried already, you absolutely should. But while these mods really put the focus on the Roman Empire or the kingdoms that formed following its breakup in Europe, there is another mod by Anisvara that puts the focus on a rising culture that not many games, let alone Total War, touches on, and that is the rise of Islam. So in this video, I'll be showcasing 642 AD, the Dark Ages, a mod that does an excellent job of depicting the rise of the Rashidun Caliphate, alongside dozens of other factions in this time period, with incredible looking units and challenging gameplay that I just cannot get enough of. If you've been enjoying mods like Medieval Kingdoms 1212 AD, 555 AD, Age of Justinian, etc., this is absolutely the mod for you. So let's get started. 642 AD is set roughly 10 years after Muhammad's death in the Arabian Peninsula. This is a time when the Roman Empire was surrounded by enemies and heavily taxing its population, a time where the Frankish and Germanic kingdoms started forming and the Langobards settled in Italy, and where the mighty Sasanian Empire was nearing the end of its 500-year reign in modern-day Iran and Iraq. The mod gives the player the opportunity to play any of these factions, of course, with their very own interesting, unique circumstances, characters, unit rosters, and more, but the main focus here in 642 AD is the Rashidun Caliphate, the very first caliphate that formed after the death of Muhammad and thrived for 50 years before becoming the great Umayyad Caliphate. Everything here is as historically accurate as possible, so the Sassanids really were experiencing a two-front war with the Gökturks in the north and the Rashidun Caliphate to the west. The Frankish kingdoms are all led by the children following the death of their father, King Dagobert, and the Avars really are an easy campaign because they were an absolute powerhouse in the Balkans in the time. All in all, the mod comes with 42 playable factions, and honestly, every single one of them are super interesting and fun to play. In classic Anisvara style, we've got fleshed out unit rosters, challenging public order and diplomatic circumstances, and everything from emergent factions to scripted events have been weaved in to add much needed depth and immersion to the whole experience. I've personally been playing two campaigns with the Langobards of northern Italy and of course the Rashidun Caliphate, and I have to say it's immensely enjoyable and so replayable. As the Caliphate, for example, because you are essentially a growing emergent faction with a kind of emergent culture, you've got massive public order penalties everywhere that are insanely hard to control. You have to start doing things like knocking down local Christian buildings, using religious edicts and characters to bring it all to the positive, but even then, a two-front war with the Romans and the Sassanids does not help. While this may sound insanely challenging, there are factions you can play to get a feel for new mechanics and generally have an easier time. My Langobard campaign, for example, was almost a breeze on hard difficulty. Play your cards right and you can make peace with the Frankic and Germanic kingdoms in the north in order to go to war with the Romans and start invading Italy, which is a lot of fun. I managed to liberate Rome to form the emergent faction of the Ecclesiasticus, which seems like the beginning of the Papal States. It's liberating factions like these that really bring out the flavor of this mod. The main point I'm trying to make here, though, is 642 AD does a brilliant job of giving you a lot of choice with a variety of challenge and memorable gameplay experiences. As the Caliphate, I soon realized I could secure most of my borders by liberating smaller towns from the Romans and the Sassanids, so I could buffer myself while I deal with public order. As the Langobards, my faction leader went on a rampage across Italy, absolutely crushing any Roman opposition. It's all just brilliantly done and so fun. Another aspect of 642 AD that's really well done is campaign mechanics. We've got a supply system that enables more province management and forces you to choose how you spend on your buildings very carefully. We've also got a new mechanic called Emergent Cultures, which essentially means various different religions and cultures have a chance of splitting off into new subcultures, leading to new buildings and further unique units as well, which is awesome. What impresses me the most about 642 AD, and I feel this equally with Anisvara's other mods as well, is everything he's done here, from faction variety, the beautiful units, and the campaign mechanics, is how immersive it all is. When I go into the family tree in the Caliphate, we've got historically accurate characters. I've got my first chapter mission to stay alive by 647 AD, which gives me motivation enough, and I've got standing armies ready to invade Mesopotamian Sassanid lands. It's this immersion that really drives home my enjoyment of this mod. And then there are the battles, guys, and I have to say, they are really good. Unit diversity isn't equal across all factions, obviously, as the focus is on the Eastern Kingdoms, but most still have a decent number of units and they all look absolutely brilliant. 642 AD comes with a Dark Ages reskin mod, which I've linked below, that makes all units look a lot more medieval with mail armor all around and more historically accurate shields, and I highly recommend you get it because it really makes battles far more beautiful in my opinion. From the menacing infantry of the Viking kingdoms to the cataphracts of the Roman Empire to the massive variety of cavalry of the Caliphate, Anisvara did not hold back here and never stinges out on unit variety and has done an immense job of making them look absolutely brilliant. While it's difficult to appreciate their visuals from afar, as with all Total War games, take a closer look at the action, and as you see here, you can absolutely understand what I'm talking about. Battle AI as well is proactive and smart, both defensively and offensively. Cavalry usage is varied and units do a good job of pulling back when they're being overwhelmed to regroup, which is really nice to see. The nature of the time period and the main factions being quite cavalry heavy means you'll be micromanaging skirmishes quite a bit, but to be honest, I really like that. I'm not personally a fan of just letting battles play out, so it's very enjoyable all around. Overall, 642 AD has a campaign that you rarely see in other mods of its kind. Brilliant, diverse factions that have a variety of difficulty, gameplay mechanics that really up the immersion, and battle gameplay that always leaves me wanting more. The talented modder Anisvara has done a fantastic job here to give the player some memorable Total War gameplay, so I highly recommend you go check it out. And that's it for today, guys. I've dropped a link to the mod in the video description below. If you do go ahead and download it and play it and you do like it, make sure to give the mod a positive rating on Steam, as it's currently highly underrated in my opinion, and Anisvara deserves all the praise for his work here. There's also a Discord server you can join to give feedback on your experience and speak to like-minded players, which I've linked below. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and if you did, give it a like and drop any thoughts or questions in the comment section below. Subscribe for more Total War content, gameplay, and news, and thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.